Class 9 Economics, Chapter 2 People as a Resource. People with skills and knowledge who can do some productive work by using them are also referred as a human capital. So, if any person who is trained to do some work, those who are educated, so that all persons are a part of human capital. Population ascent for the economy rather than a liability. So, for any country, if population is there and they are trained to do some work, in that case, they are a positive aspects for that country instead of being a negative aspect. People as resource, way of referring to a country's working people in term existing productive skills and abilities. So when we are saying towards the positive aspects, we know that it is a plus point for that country. But when we see the negative aspects, we know that the people they used to face the problem to providing food for everyone, so providing education and for health facilities. So investment in human capital is a return like investment in physical capitals. So if any person those who are trained in a country so that there's a plus point and if more human resources are there, so there is a more chance of development to that country. Not only educated and the healthier people gain with healthier for the society gains in other indirect ways because the advantages of a more educated or healthier population spreads where not directly educated or given healthcare. So human capital is one day superior to other resources. Investment in human resource give high rates of return in the future. So educated parents found to invest more heavily education of their child, and that's the reason our government are also trying that more people should be educated in our country. Mainly when we will see the economic activities, so economic activities are those activities which added value to the national income, जिसको करने से हमारे नेशनल इनकम में प्लस होता है, उसमें ऐड होता जाता है, वो उसे हम इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज कहते हैं. सो द वेरियस इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज have been classified into three main sectors. इन्हें तीन सेक्टर्स में बांटा गया है. The first one is primary sector. So this primary sector that includes agriculture, forestry and animal husbandry. So primary sector, it means that the thing which is related to nature, which we directly get from nature. For example, like agriculture, जब कोई खेती करता है तो उसमें nature को directly we get it from there. So it is a part of primary sector. For more example like fishing, people catch fishes from river or from ocean. This all are a part of primary sector because directly connected to the nature. Next, that is secondary sector that includes manufacturing of goods, all the industrial product that all things they come under the secondary sector. Next is tertiary, so that the tertiary sector includes trade, communication, banking, education, transport, health. So these all are the part of tertiary sector. Mainly this tertiary sector used to provide help to these two primary and secondary sectors. Primary activities. As per we discussed, you can see the diagram of agriculture when people do farming work, that is a part of primary sector. Next, mining work, which you can see in the another diagram. So this mining is a part of primary sector activities because it's connected to the primary activities. Directly they are taking out coal or any iron or something from the land surface, iron ore or coal, any another minerals which they are taking out from the nature. So that is connected to the nature and that's why it's known as primary activities. Next, if somebody is doing husbandry, animal husbandry, so what they are doing, they are taking care of the animals. So directly connected to the nature, from nature we are getting the animals, so that all each and every work which is connected to the nature that come under the primary activities. Next, we have secondary activities. Secondary activities mainly inside this, all the industrial works are connected where the things are manufactured. So that all things come under the secondary activity. For example, if whatever the cloth you wear, so that comes from the industrial place. After doing the manufacturing, that cloth is you are used to wear. So that is a part of secondary activities. Next, we have the tertiary activities. So these economic activities which support the primary and secondary activities are called tertiary activities. For example, banking, transport, finance, and different types of services come under the tertiary activities. For example, I'm teaching you, I'm a teacher. So I'm helping you, I'm supporting both primary and secondary activities. Those who are doing this primary and secondary work, so their children, we are teaching them. So as a teacher, we are coming under the tertiary activities. Next, we are going to see the next topic is what is the difference between market activities and non-market activities. So market activities, especially, they used to add value to the national income. That next another point, that done for profit or salary. मार्केट एक्टिविटीज में वो सारे काम किए जाते हैं जिसको करने से आपको पैसे मिलते हैं. दूसरा, जो काम आप करते हो उसका जो बेनिफिट है वो नेशनल इनकम में ऐड होता है. नेक्स्ट, इसमें क्या कौन से एग्जाम्पल आ सकते हैं, जैसे फार्मिंग, एनी गवर्नमेंट जॉब लाइक बैंकिंग or teaching, next business, etc. So these are all part of market activities. So it's a production of goods and services. इसको करने से कुछ प्रोडक्शन वो होता है गुड्स का, सर्विसेज का. नेक्स्ट, when we are moving towards the non-market activities, that does not add any value to the national income. इसको करने से ये कोई भी इसका जो बेनिफिट है वो हमको इसमें फायदा नहीं होता है. दूसरा, done for self consumption, we don't get any payment for doing it. तो जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल वी कैन सी है as like this person who is doing farming and he's just doing for self consumption, he's just doing for eating for themselves and for their family members, so that income which is not going to get him much more benefit from this, so that thing will not coming under the market, so that will come under the non-market activities. So that means that when people do some work for their self-consumption, that will come under the non-market activities. Next, for example, we can say any farmer, those who are just doing for themselves work, or as like housewife, those who are working as like your mother, the whole day she work but she don't get any salary, that work is not included in the national income. So this, and that's why that's known as non-market activities. Economic activities by men and women. When we will see this topic, we know that women were paid very less in past time, but now after this all changes in this 21st century, now this high education and skill formation were paid highly. So now the females are also paid highly. Before, basic facilities were missing like maternity leave, child care, and other social security systems. So little bit changes more required for this female, because the female, they require this all basic needs. Quality of population. The quality of population depends on the literacy rate, health of a person, indicator of life expectancy, and skill formation acquired by the people of the country. The quality of the population ultimately decides the growth rate of the country. Illiterate and unhealthy population are the liability of the economy. So for any country, if the people are not healthy and they are not educated, so they all are just dependent on the country. They are not doing any positive aspects for the country. They are not a plus point for the country. They are just a negative aspects. And that's the reason this literate and healthy population are an essence. So those who are educated, those who are healthy, they can only do something for our country. And that's the reason we always try to educate our coming generation. So it's much more important to give education to coming generation for making our country much more developed. As per you can see under this graph, that how in the year of 1951 the graph was near 30, then it's increased near 40, then in 1971 reached near 50. So how this graph is just increasing near 2011, it's shown as like blue color shown for the person, next this red color shown as a male, and the another one yellow color shown as a female education. So how this education, which you can see is that male is much more educated than comparatively female, but still this graph is increasing. So there is a chance that in future that all persons should be educated in our country. Government has recently launched the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan to spread education to remotest parts of the country. Under this program, all children under 6 to 14 years of age are given elementary education. So our government, they are trying to give education that all children, those who are far away from the city areas, in all the remote areas, between the age of 6 to 14 years. Next, we have government also provides midday meal scheme. So inside this, in government schools, so that children of poor people can attend the school. Midday meal has helped many children from the poor family to attend school. So when this midday meal scheme was started, it brought a great changes under our country, especially for the poor people, those who were unable to feed their children. Under this scheme, under this midday meal, that children, they used to come to the school, they get their education with that, they used to get their midday meal also, so for they are getting lunch, so that is a plus point for this poor people, and that's the reason that they used to send their children towards the school, so which increased the attendance in that school and also brought a good health to that children. Not only this much, in 11th plan government focused on higher education. Many colleges and universities were opened with new courses like IT, CS, etc. Next, another is like Navodaya Vidyalaya in each district. So the government tried to open this Navodaya Vidyalaya, and they mainly open for the girls. So open more only for the girls' schools. So where easily girls can take as admission for their education. The government also did more expenditure on education, so that reached in the year of 1951 to 1952, which was 0.64%, that reached near 3.3% in the year of 2013-14. So you can see how the number of students were increasing day by day. This was the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, which government they had started for the age of 6 to 14 years children. This is the symbol of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. Sab padhein, sab badhein. Just because of this new schemes which government they had planned, due to this, the literacy rate of our country is increased. As like in the year of 1951, the literacy rate was just 18%. And now in the year of 2011, the literacy rate reached near 74%. Males have 16.6% higher literacy rate comparatively the female. In urban areas have 16.1% higher literacy rate comparatively the rural areas. When we will discuss about any state, so in that case, Kerala having the highest literacy rate, that is 93.9%, and in Tripura that is 94.4%. But in that case, when we'll see the much more less literate state, in that case Bihar is there, that is having 63%. When we are talking about this health, which is much more important for any country, so what the government they are doing for improving the health facilities in our country, so they are trying to provide more hospitals and clinics even in rural area, free health checkups and campaigns they are opening. More medical colleges are open now, as per you can see under this graph that how the number of hospitals, beds, doctors, nursing, they all are increasing. And government they want that all the citizens of their country should be healthy, because if any person who is unhealthy, they are just a liability for their family members and for their country. Next, we are moving towards the point, that is unemployment. Unemployment means when people who are willing to work at the going wages. So whatever the wages are there, they want to work in that wages, but still they are not getting any job. In that condition, that person were known as unemployed. Especially the age of this unemployment is between 15 to 59. That is a working age. And in that condition, if some person, those who want to work, but they are not getting any wages, they are not getting job, in that condition they are unemployed. Mainly we can categorize this all unemployment in three different parts. The first one is seasonal unemployment. Seasonal unemployment, it means it happens when people are not able to find jobs during some months of the year. So, especially this seasonal unemployment, you can see in rural areas where the people they just get 3 to 4 months work, and rest of the year they used to be unemployed, especially in their seasonal when they have to grow the crops or when they have to harvest the crop. In that condition, they get job, and then afterwards again they become unemployed. So that type of unemployment known as seasonal unemployment. Mainly it happens in the rural areas. Next we have disgraced unemployment. In this case, people appear to be employed. Some work requires the work of only few peoples but engages more peoples that it needs. The extra workers are called distinguished unemployment. This usually happens with agricultural family. So mainly under this unemployment where only two persons are required, and instead of two-person, more 6-7 persons are working. So that land surface only required 2%, but that all family members are a huge number and they all are working in the same land surface. So which another 5 members are not required, but still 5 and plus 2 all are working in the same land surface. So that 2 persons are only required, that 5 persons are just burden, or they are not doing any work, or they are doing but it's not required for that land surface. So इन अनदर वर्ड वी कैन से छुपी हुई जो होती है अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट, बेरोजगारी, वो दिख होती है इसमें, क्योंकि लोग दिखते हैं कि काम कर रहे हैं बट इन अ वे दे आर अनएम्प्लॉयड. सो दैट टाइप ऑफ unemployment come under this part. Another is educated unemployment. It is more common in urban areas. Many educated young youths are not able to find a job. They are called educated unemployment. Educated unemployment, especially found in urban areas where people they are educated but they are unable to find their job according to their education qualification. So mainly these three different types of unemployments are there. We discussed the first one, that was seasonal unemployment. This type of unemployment is more prevalent in rural areas. The farming cycle is seasonal based. There are certain months which are quite busy for a farm worker. There are many other months when a farm worker is without a work. So that type of unemployment were known as seasonal unemployment. So what are the effects of unemployment? Unemployment can be emotionally draining on the unemployed person. It can be a financial and emotional drain on these family members. A large number of unemployed people is ultimately a liability for the society. High rate of unemployment can also increase a crime rate. So these all are the bad effects which we get just because of this unemployment. When people are trained, they are not getting job. In that case, they are just a liability for their country. Next, if these all educated people they are not getting job, in that case the crime rate also increased. Thank you.